Hello all, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to the Twilight Adventure series. This is episode 11, and today we are going to be doing 3-star Twilight units. We're going to review all of them both from a LD only account perspective and also a normal account perspective. So if you're wondering what 3-star Twilight units to build, hopefully this video will help you. I just wanted to add, if this is your first visit to the channel, I hope I can earn your subscription today. And if you've been watching for a while but haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It would really help the channel. I was reviewing my channel and I saw this, and I'm only 10 subscribers away from 1,000. It's been a very long-term goal of mine, and I'd be really excited to hit that. And I've been saving up summons on my main to celebrate hitting 1,000 subscribers. So as soon as we get there, I'll make a video with all the summons I've got on my main, and I hope I can just continue to put out good content that you like to watch. If there's any kind of video you'd like to see, or you think there's a certain one that's more interesting than others, feel free to leave a comment in the YouTube comments. I always really appreciate feedback. But now let's get started on the Twilight 3-star unit tier list so you know which ones to build. And I've made the categories of meta, great, really good, niche, and a dud. So let's take a look at each unit. We're going to do the dark ones first. Dark Steel Wings is the first unit, and on a regular account, he's actually still pretty good. But he is meta for light and dark only accounts because he can be your farmer, and he's used in a lot of dungeons. His skill 1 has a strip, and then he has double AoEs, which is really good for a lot of different things in the game. So Dark Steel Wings is one of the best Twilight 3-stars. And then we have Dark Clockwork, who we're also going to put as meta because people on regular accounts also use him. So the Dark Clockwork is a fabulous unit for territory wars and airship. He has a built-in stun. He has built-in ignore defense on skill 2. A really, really good unit. And he's used quite a bit in Abyss, especially for an LD only account. I use him in almost every Abyss, but for a regular account, he works really well in any of the light Abyss and light Mental Fortress Juggernaut. So really, really good unit. Love him. And then the Dark Popo Rider. She does have a little bit of use as a tank, but on my LD only, I've not really been able to get her to work well. And I haven't really seen anyone with regular accounts making her work well either in arena or airship or territory wars. It's pretty easy to counter her kit when you know you're going in, and I haven't seen her on defenses. So I think that unit needs a little bit of a rework. Dark Dome is another amazing unit. We are going to put her in meta also. She is absolutely fabulous for territory wars and airship, especially when the enemy team does not have immunity. She just constantly stuns things. She's even better at stunning things than the Dark Clockwork. So she is seen in top territory war defenses. A lot of them are starting to get countered now, but she still is a really strong unit for both territory war defenses, offenses, airship, defense and offense. And she does have some niche use in some of the dungeons and some of the Abyss. So absolutely fabulous unit. Dark Hog Chef. I'm also going to put her in meta. She is absolutely key to Mental Fortress, Juggernaut, and quite a few of the dungeons and the Abyss for an LD only account. She's absolutely fabulous for that. She also has a few uses in territory war and airship. So I use her in a lot of different places. So another outstanding unit. Next up is Dark Sharpshooter. And I'm going to put her in great. She's a really good damage dealer, and a lot of regular accounts use her just because of her kit being so good. So skill 1 defense break, skill 2 team up and crit rate buff for everybody. And skill 3 has a defense break and a mark and does really good damage. So, and she's a speed lead, 18% dark speed lead. So she's absolutely great. Maybe not quite meta because you can get other units to do more damage than she can. But still a very, very good unit. Immediate build for, I would argue, any account. Up next is Dark Tank. And it's a unit I like, but I haven't found a lot of uses for yet. It's a really good tank for light units. It has a pretty good base HP and defense, so you can build it really tanky and have it absorb hits. And it also, if it doesn't get Oblivion, then its passive will put a block on the enemy unit that's attacking it. So you can prevent a lot of buffs from happening on the enemy team if they're hitting the Dark Tank. So when you're going against a light threat, the Dark Tank is really good. He can take the hit and then put a block on the light unit. Dark Joker is next, and some people might put him up in meta. I'm going to put him down at great. And he's good because of his passive. He doesn't die to critical hits, so he can tank things a lot. So if you know you're going against a defense that has all units that crit almost all the time, you can just bring the Dark Joker in, and sometimes he can even solo it. And his skill 2 can go absolutely nuts because it has a 40% chance to just happen again. And he could just sit there and do 6, 8, 10. I've seen even more hits than that. So Dark Joker is insane. I'm not going to put him up in meta. So the Dark Joker is pretty easily countered with dots, bombs, or units that just don't crit. So the Tree Specialist is an excellent counter to the Dark Joker because he can just use skill 2 to kill the Joker and also put up shields and immunity on the whole team that's attacking the Joker defense, and he's unlikely to kill anything. So pretty easily countered unit, but its kit is still really good, so it's a great unit. Up next is the Dark Giant, and I'm going to put him in great as opposed to meta because I don't want to put too many units up in meta. But he's, some people could certainly put him here. But he's really great because his skill 1 is a taunt, skill 2 is a heal and speed up your team, and skill 3 is attack bar reduction with a guaranteed stun if the attack bar is reduced to 0. So he's most people use him in tunnel, both normal and hard. He's a great unit for both. And then I've even seen him in some dungeon teams and some territory war defenses, and seen people using him on offense as well as in airship. So great unit. Typically, when you see him on a territory war defense, it's usually a speed lead, another unit that's doing damage, and then the giant is there to speed up the defense and reduce attack bars on the offense. So he's not necessarily a meta unit for territory wars, but you see him fairly often in defenses. Up next is the Dark Euryleon, and I'm going to go ahead and put him down in niche. I know recently that a couple people were saying they had figured out an amazing use for him, and I don't know what that use is. So I'm sure the use that they're talking about is because of the Dark Euryleon's third skill, which ignores all buffs, and if it kills the target, then the target can't be revived. So Dark Euryleon's really good for killing units that revive. He doesn't do a lot of damage, so you have to bring another unit to weaken the target, and then use the Dark Euryleon, then you can kill it and it won't come back. It's a mechanic that's not very common in the game. It's just that he doesn't do a lot of damage. So kind of niche use right now, maybe if he gets a buff. Up next is the Dark Pumpkin, who I think is a fabulous meta unit. You see him in Arena, Territory Wars, Airship Wars. He's the best base speed unit in the game. And Now with specialization, I mean, they took 5 speed away from him, but you can add that 5 speed back to him. And most teams that outspeed me in Arena have the Dark Pumpkin on their team. The rest of the teams rarely outspeed me. So I love it. I use it on my Arena offense. I use it in Territory Wars. So up next is the Light Steel Wings. And he's actually a really great unit. Not quite meta, I don't think. On my LD only account, I use him on Heavy Metal, and I also use him on Death Lab because his immunity can be used to counteract the dots or the taunts that happen in those 2 dungeons. And so he's in both those dungeons. He's on speed teams. It's a great unit for that. So he has a lot of uses in Territory War, Airship, and Arena offenses when you need a source of immunity. More for an LD only account, but he is useful on my main account as well. I use him. He's 6-starred, fully built. And it's a great unit. Really nice. I like how his skill 1 can either do damage on the enemy or can heal an ally. That can come in really handy. Light Clockwork is amazing. We're going to put him up in the meta units. He just does a ton of damage, especially versus dark units, especially in the Abyss. A lot of speed teams in the Abyss and Mental Fortress have the Light Clockwork on it. It's just because he's such a good unit. So much damage. And self-buffs on speed, and partially ignores defense based on his passive. So Light Clockwork is amazing. And you see a lot of regular accounts building him. And I use him almost everywhere. Up next is the Light Popo Rider. And she is, again, a meta unit. She's used in a ton of speed teams. With the right gear, she can do a ton of damage. She doesn't need to be built with a lot of attack, even though her damage scales with attack somewhat. It also scales by enemy max HP. So she's great against bosses. She's great in the Abysses. Outstanding unit. She's in my Light Element Dungeon Speed team. So everyone should want to build multiple Light Popos. Great unit. Okay, so the Light Dome kind of deserves to be in really good. She has more than one use, so she's used in Tunnel to help control the bosses with taunts. And then she also, with her passive, can only take 20% damage per hit. So if you're going against a defense or a tunnel level where they're doing massive damage, you just use her. She takes 20% and then you can heal her up. So Light Hog Chef is next. I'm going to put her in Great. She has a 12% global speed lead, so 12% everywhere, which is really good to outspeed a lot of the bruiser teams that are out there. So it's not super fast speed lead, but if you're using her against bruiser teams, it's enough to usually get the first turn. 100% fill the attack bar on a damage dealer and give them an attack buff. So you can use her as a speed lead, bring in a damage dealer that you want to buff up, and you could take out one enemy unit right away. So she's really good for that. And then her revive can be used both on defenses and offenses to keep the team alive. So she's a good unit, and she's a great unit. Light Sharpshooter's next, and I'm going to put her in Great again. This is actually one of my favorite units in the game because she's an 18% light speed lead, and she does a 30% AoE attack bar boost. So if you put her as the speed lead for your team, she gets an 18% boost, which is usually enough to have her go first, and then she can boost the rest of the team with a 30% attack bar boost. So great unit. She has a little bit of attack bar reduction on skill 1 along with a defense break, and then she can strip with skill 2 and heal an attack bar boost with skill 3. Fabulous unit. Love her. Light Tank. I'm going to leave that one actually really good because it has more use for LD only accounts than it does for regular accounts. It's a 25% light HP lead, which is really nice, but it's only for light. And it does damage reduction. So everybody gets the damage reduction. So it's a good unit. I use it on my LD only a lot, especially in Abyss and Mental Fortress in some dungeons. But on a regular account, there's generally better units that can kind of replace it. So it's still a really good unit, just top priority for LD only accounts, medium priority for regular accounts. Light Joker is another really good unit. I think I will keep him at really good. He has an attack power lead, does ignore defense on skill 1, and then he does a nice heal and a crit dampen with skill 2. And he doesn't need any crit rate because of his passive. So he's definitely in some Element dungeon speed teams. So he's also used in some regular dungeons, some Abyss teams. I use him in Mental Fortress on my LD only. So it's a really nice unit. It's definitely worth building. And you get him for free from the game, so you can't go wrong there. Light Giant, I'm going to put him in Great. For LD only, he is meta for sure. He is one of the most critical units for an LD only account, which makes him meta. But for regular accounts, he's probably only Great. So he does a heal every time he does a critical hit. And that heal can actually be doubled. Well, not doubled. You can get a second heal if he's on Echo. So he's a really nice sustain unit. He can taunt and stun. Great unit. Love the Light Giant. One of the top 5 units for me in my LD only. And I have him built on my main. It's just I have less uses for him there. Light Euryleon is another unit, which for an LD only, I would put him here. He's a great unit for an LD only. AoE defense break. He does some healing, and if you put him on Bash, he can do stuns. And I've seen him used by regular accounts as well, just not as often as some of the other LD3s. So Light Euryleon is really good. Definitely build immediately for an LD only account. And eventually you'll want to build him for your main account too. It's just, he's a little bit of a lower priority. Light Pumpkin, for LD only, I would put him in meta. He's an absolutely fabulous unit for LD only. I've got 2 of him built on a regular account. Put him in Great for a regular account. He's really good for Death Lab. I actually use 2 of them for my Light Element Dungeon Speed team. I made a video about that. If you want to look at that, I'll try to include a link in the description. But for regular accounts, there's a lot of uses for him. I think he's actually an underused unit, both for dungeons, Abyss, Territory Wars, and Airship. I will be finding more uses for him. He's a solid unit. Okay, I just want to give a quick shout out to the Element Fission team. I was about halfway through this tier list and I realized the Spyders had not been added. So I went on Element Fission's Discord server. I didn't know who to message, so I just messaged Kiddexx, and within a couple hours they'd had the Spyders added to the tier list so we could continue on with this. So nice customer service, appreciate that. Our last 2 3-star Twilight units to review are the Dark Spider and the Light Spider. The Dark Spider needs some kind of buff. We're going to put it down in niche. So it does have one use, and you pair it with the Fire Puppet Artist. The Fire Puppet Artist will almost kill the enemy unit, then you can use the Dark Spider to follow through, but you can use other units to follow through. So even on my LD only account, I have not built the Dark Spider. I don't know when I will. I'm kind of hoping that he'll be in a balance patch soon, and then I can play with him. So the last unit then is the Light Spider. And I think the Light Spider deserves to be really good. It basically has one use, and that is to use its passive, which is 35% extra crit damage, to help your team do more damage. So whatever team he's added to, all the damage dealers on that team are going to have an extra 35% crit damage. So your whole team will do more damage, and the idea is that it speeds up the runs. It's actually kind of like a poor man's Water Nurse. Not as good, because Water Nurse is a 5-star, the Light Spider is a 3-star. But if you don't have the Water Nurse, the Light Spider is a very good unit to use until you get her. And he's much easier to skill up. So I do like the Light Spider. I have it both on my main and on my LD only in multiple Abyss teams, multiple Mental Fortress teams. The downside is that it lowers the defense of the units on the team. So you can't use the Light Spider when you're really iffy on getting, like, if you're between like A and S or double S and triple S, because it'll weaken the survivability of your team. So the Light Spider is a better addition once the team is pretty darn stable and you can take a little bit of a hit and the less defense won't matter. That's when you want to add the Light Spider into your teams. So that's it for the 3-star units. I hope you like this. Feel free to leave comments on YouTube below if there's anything else you'd like to see whenever I'm doing tier lists. Until the next video, see ya.